Let's get to our guest, please.
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother, man? Chef!
All right. Chris Arps, how are you?
That's a nice T-shirt. Whoever wins that is going to be very happy.
I think they will be happy, suitable for yard work or certainly to wear next Monday if you can get down here to pick it up.
100% cotton. Right? It's very soft, very luxurious.
Nice. You're wanting one, aren't you?
American cotton, I think.
You're pushing for one, aren't you? Yeah, that's a limited number. You know that, right?
There's only 11 of them, right?
They're dwindling every day.
Exactly, and I have my eye on this one.
You don't need that one. That's an XL. You don't need an XL anymore. You've been losing all this weight. You've been working out.
That's true.
See, you're in wedding training, aren't you?
In fighting shape.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear
Everything that's going on in politics and in the world, you need to be in fighting shape.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what's going on here at FM News Talk 97.1? Any news you can break for us here?
Wow, you did put me on the spot there, didn't you?
You don't want me? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we can.
You and Tony Colombo are going to be doing something on the weekends here. I just learned a few minutes ago.
I am a new co-host of the Weekend Show.
Weekend Update, is that what they call it?
Weekend Update.
No, but
with Tony Colombo and Chris Arps. So
that's
we're excited
awesome
about that and putting it together, and we'll be taping the show or later.
We will look forward to that. I'm sure you do a great job at that.
You ambushed me.
No, I didn't. Jeff told me just a couple of minutes ago, and I'm like, Chris Arps has not told me about that. And he goes, well, we just kind of finalized it, so that's good.
I appreciate the opportunity.
I know you were holding out for more cash, and I guess Jeff, fired somebody and found some extra cash for it.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
That's a good
I really
story.
hope it wasn't me, and he just didn't tell me yet.
He'll be coming into the studio here shortly
I just want
to
to know
tell
where
me
the
to shut up.
restroom is.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So
when you find it, let me know.
So I can put cologne on and breath mints after I come out. Where's that bathroom?
Yeah, that's it. That's somewhere near John Beck's office on the other side of the building. I'm certain of that. I'm just certain of it. All right. I figured when you came in here, you'd want to talk about Charlottesville. I've been talking about it since yesterday. Talked about it a little more today. I can't believe I can't believe the criticism from the past 72 hours that the president has endured over this. You know who I thought probably addressed this better than anybody I'd heard, and that was Omarosa. Omarosa was on Tucker Carlson last night talking about this criticism of Trump over this, and I thought that she answered this question as well as anyone I'd heard.
That we have to put this into context. When the shooting happened at the Charleston church, President Barack Obama did not come out in his first statement and condemn all white supremacists. In fact, he specifically said that I'm going to exercise great caution while the investigation takes place. When the Black Lives Matter officer went and started shooting 5 police officers, he was a military guy, and he shot and killed 5 police officers, Barack Obama did not come out and condemn Black Lives Matter by name. In fact, he said again, I'm going to wait until the investigation is over. Our president, President Trump, he said that he condemned the acts. He knew that they were disgusting and loathsome, but he did not come out until the facts were known about the investigation. And today, he made a statement that was very clear and very decisive about where he stood on these acts.
Is that the same Omarosa that stood us up for an interview once?
It is.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, in fact, we had her cell phone number, and when our producer called to get her on the air, she demanded to know who the hell this was and how he got her number, and then she hung up on him.
Yeah.
I think that's the same person, right? Isn't that how that went down?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz is confirming.
It was something like that. I was not the person who called, but it was something along those lines.
Just want to make sure it was the same.
We had the interview. We thought we had it all set up on our end, and it just that we had an intermediary who was supposed to be setting it up on her end, and either they failed or they didn't completely explain to her that she was going to be doing a live radio interview.
Or she forgot.
I think this is not. I've heard other stories about her with media interviews, so I don't think, and not trying to stick up for my friend, but I don't think it was the intermediary. I think she just completely dropped the ball on it.
Well, whatever. But what do you think about what she said, and what's Chris Arps' take on the president's reaction, which is also the subject of our Twitter poll today? I can mention at Tony Colombo 971, at Marc Cox 971. Go vote. Tell us how you think the president handled it. But how do you think this went down?
I think the statement that the president made was just fine until he got to the point of saying in all the other groups or whatever it was. If he would have just left it at that, I think his statement would have been fine. I put on my Facebook page a statement with that when one side was the one that seemed to have caused the violence and caused the death, that it's really not a good statement to put out that all sides need to not be violent, in my opinion. I think, a lot of the critics were also saying, well, if he does amend his statement and say that it's not going to do any good, the press is just going to be on him and it's not good enough, which it is. But I was just explaining that you at least have something on the record, that they can never go back and say, well, you didn't amend your statement. What the media does with it after that, let them have it, but at least have something on the record to blunt this criticism.
Barack Obama never took grief from the liberal media, because that's what they are, for jumping to conclusions on a variety of police-related incidents during his administration. He always jumped to the conclusion that the police had probably done something wrong, or some wrong had been done to the other side. Now, in this particular case, you don't have to go very far. You can just you pick the website and click on the video that they're offering you, not of the car running down the street, but of the clashes that took place that morning. Now, bear in mind, the park had been evacuated, and most of that stuff was over with by about an hour and a half by the time the car ran into these folks who were marching somewhere. If you look just at the video of the clashes, there was a tremendous amount of violence on both sides before 2 hours later this moron got in a car and ran somebody down. And I hope that he rots in a prison cell for it. But I think when the president said we condemn violence on many sides, that's probably what I have to assume that's what he was talking about, because 2 hours before the car hit anybody, there was a lot of violence, there was a lot of bloodshed, and the police stood back and let it happen.
But I think that the one caveat to that is the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, came to the meeting with riot vests and paramilitary gear. They came to this situation looking to a fight. Maybe the other side too, but I mean, when you're wearing gear to protect yourself, and batons and riot shields and paramilitary gear, I mean, more than likely you're coming looking to instigate trouble. I'm not defending the neo-Nazi group that was there, whoever the hell they were, but the other side, the Antifa people who showed up, and some of the regular protesters, who I'm sure had nothing to do with Antifa, also brought tire irons and clubs, and I mean, they weren't there looking for a peaceful demonstration. That's not why they were there. All I'm saying is I think that's what the president said when he said this statement that Chris referred to. Listen.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides. It's been going on for a long time in our country. Not Donald Trump, not Barack Obama. It's been going on for a long, long time.
And the thing that I hate about this is all this is going to do is just add another distraction. We're talking about this instead of talking about healthcare reform, instead of tax reform, instead of talking about is the president going to sign off on with Obamacare, where people are still going to be becoming their subsidies.
Right.
We've seen that the Russian narrative, they've been on that for a year and it hasn't worked. I'm just afraid if they see a racism angle that trying to paint him as this is something that they may feel, hey, the Russia thing may not have stung, but we're gonna take this, we're gonna run this Russia thing as far as we can. And I just hate them having a two-track narrative.
I agree with you. It gives them more fuel
and get him off the agenda. That's what I hate more than anything.
So you've got, and I admire this about you. Because I try to limit the number of liberals I'm in contact with at every turn.
Right.
But you've got a lot of friends who are on the other side of the political aisle, and that's fine. I do too. Sure, I'm just joking about that, actually. You've talked to a lot of these folks. A lot of them are African Americans.
Sure.
what shred of evidence does anybody have that Donald Trump supports white supremacy or is a racist? Has anybody given, and maybe we talk about when we come back from this break. Think about that for a minute.
Okay.
I want to know what the evidence is that when people claim that somehow he supports neo-Nazis, which are one of the most violent, hateful groups on earth, right up there with ISIS. Why does anybody think that? I don't know where that evidence is. It's more scarce than Russia collusion evidence. I've seen pictures of Jesse Jackson and other people shaking Donald Trump's hand when he donated money to a cause years ago. They didn't seem to hate him then.
A lot of it was brought up in the campaign, and I'll talk about that when we come back.
We'll talk about that. We'll get to your phone calls when we come back. Also, an update on the city-county merger and how yet another community in our area has moved forward in opposition to the city-county merger. All of that and more coming up on the Marc Cox Show, 314-969-9797.
This is the Marc Cox Show.